Good evening. I would like to call our pre-council meeting to order. This is approximately 6 o'clock, and we can get started and hopefully get a lot of business accomplished here tonight. Let's go down the agenda like we always do and try to get ready for our meeting. So our call to order tonight looks like we have everyone except Mr. Butler here. We have the department heads. We have Corey there helping us with the live streaming. Invocation tonight. Ms. Reese, I think you did it last week.
Yes, sir.
You want to start back over, Mr. Little? You do it? Okay, thank you. Invocation.
Start back over. You didn't want a chance.
I didn't hear what he said.
Invocation.
A roll call.
I was doing this.
Have y'all had a chance to look over the agenda?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you have any add-ons? And like I said, if we all agree that's something that's come up before anything, I really don't see where there'll be a problem as long as it's been discussed and everybody agrees. But is there any changes, additions, deletions?
Were we going to try to get a magistrate?
Yes, I was going to cover that. We
Okay.
requested a
Gotcha.
position.
Mayor, Miss Shirley Presnall would like to speak as well. She had spoken to Trish, but it did get passed on to me. So-
Okay, I had that on but you go ahead and come up on what we talked about. Sure, that's good. We'll let you go ahead and handle it. I was going to cover that under mine, but she can do it. That's fine.
And then
Okay.
Mr. Bob McPhail or either Gail Driver or if Miss Linda Robbins can't be here, they just requesting, the fees waived on Steel Creek Lodge, but she said somebody should be here for the meeting. She was gonna try to get here after the thing, but they just gave it to me today.
So I didn't know about that. So if it's okay with y'all, if somebody does approach, we can let them at the regular meeting? Reverend
Yes,
Steel
sir.
Creek? Okay. If they show up, we will put them on the agenda and make them F. I guess they'll be G. Okay, well, we're going to let Miss Shirley Presnall and perhaps Miss Robbins or someone from that group reference, but I think both reference Steel Creek Lodge, though. With those two additions, is there anything else we need to do or clarify? All right. Want to have you make a motion for the approve the agenda?
Yeah, I can do that.
Mr. Skelton? Okay. Got a pretty thick packet of information tonight. Have y'all had a chance to look over the minutes from our regular March 15th meeting?
I looked over it.
Okay, so Mr. Little, did you say you'd make the motion? Randy and Ms. Reese, you'll second?
Yes, sir.
All right, I think we did have a workshop on the 22nd, so we need to have that also.
The minutes are in your packet though.
Right, the minutes are here from the March 22nd meeting. The other night when we discussed basically Steel Creek Lodge.
I can make the motion.
Mr. Little, would you be kind enough to second that one?
I will. I wasn't here though.
Then what do you want then? Mr. Phillips, you and
I'll
Jason are
second.
both here.
Do we get?
Randy's trying to break the rules.
Okay. We don't have any recognitions. Moving down to visitors for tonight. Kathy Gifford to speak about the community garden. This is what I told y'all that I'd had her and another person had sent messages or emails that I'd received expressing an interest in the garden. I guess she'll be here at the regular meeting. Shauna Alvarez to request Steel Creek Lodge on fee on 5/10/20, or 2022. What is that for, Ms. Alvarez? Can you,
The band banquet for our Spirit of Satsuma band.
I told her she could come at 6 if she wanted to just go ahead and come and tell us what it was about, but it's
you
just,
can, that'd be good.
yeah, do you want to come up?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Hey, please, if you would, just for the record, state your name for us and
Yes.
what you're requesting, and we'll get you out here pretty quick.
Okay.
You want-
I'm Shauna Alvarez. I'm the band booster president for the Spirit of Satsuma Band. And we do the band banquet at Still Creek Lodge each year, and they were just requesting if we could get our fee waived for the kids.
Have we made sure it's not rented on that day? So as long as it's,
Do you want me to make that item H?
you can.
I see the one for the senior breakfast, but I don't see the band one, so we can add that.
She wasn't gonna be here to talk about it, so we put her down.
Okay.
But you can this month.
All right, or you just, under your time, if you, any way you want to handle it, be fine, but we're just going to waive the fee and then have them pay to clean up, and that be it as a kind of a standard?
I think so, yes, sir. She filled out a form here, I think, and
Okay.
I don't know, you turn it into Edith or Trish,
Edith, yes, ma'am.
and it says, it has the $125 cleanup fee will apply. Thank you.
All right, thank you guys so much.
All right, we'll waive the fee and just pay the cleanup, and good luck with it, and hopefully we can keep the band going.
Yes,
Good.
thank you so much.
Have a good night. Thank you for coming, and you can go. Yeah, we'll just take that. All right, we have a gentleman, Blake Pritchett on C. I don't think Mr. Pritchett has arrived yet. He may come in for the meeting. He's had some issues at his residence on Landing. It's been going on for quite some time. If he shows up, we have Travis here that can, I think, give us a little explanation on what Public Works has encountered over there. So they have made some repair. Allison Gilliard to speak about the Run with Lou. I think she's on there, but, so,
I know her through Facebook and running. She actually just messaged me, and she said she got word that they will need to postpone the event, that there has been a conflict. And she asked what she needed to do to cancel her part for tonight's meeting, so,
so we'll just eliminate D.
yes, sir.
That's good.
You and Shirley is big.
That
Be
run
fine.
with Lou,
I got it.
D. I believe he's running for a political office.
Governor.
Governor, okay, so I think she wanted to introduce him or have a get-together, but,
Sally Woodward, she hasn't made it here. And this is a right-of-way
Bless
issue
you.
that has came up. I wasn't familiar with the problem until just a few days back, and I think, Tom, you said that you found something where the right-of-way was when the new public safety building was put in?
The map on the wall was drawn up before we even started construction. We were anticipating turning Woodard Drive, that little paved little piece, into an official right-of-way to gain access to all those houses back there. And they currently want to re-subdivide that property back there, but they're still just driving across our property, and their request is for the city to turn that into a right-of-way. There's a picture of what it would look like up there on the wall. Just using the existing property that's there.
Didn't that have some air property back in there that's
There's
been,
problems with heirs and probation wills, but there's 14 houses back there. And to get them all accessed where they're not crossing other people's property, and they've had surveyors, and they've gone through 2 or 3 attorneys. but part of it would be this right of way.
Okay.
Then the other question came up is, are we gonna, at some point, get rid of Knights Drive and give them a better access so that we can use that property for our future goals? Because it kind of cuts right through the south end of the police station property.
They would let her come in and explain exactly what she is trying to request from us before we start trying to.
She kind of needs this right of way. She can subdivide all she wants, but do we want her to keep, all the owners to keep driving across our property? And if it's a right of way, we can at least bring sewer in there and any utilities. Because right now, as you know, the sewer is a force main that stops at the police station and runs due south.
Are any of y'all familiar with what we did when that was constructed?
I remember there was discussion at one time about having to relocate that Knights Drive portion to the south, but I think, if I recall correctly, Tom, we would do that at a later date, whenever.
Help us with that then.
I know at one time, at one council meeting, they had attorneys up here, you know, and was talking about, but they was back and forth with each other, I think, and trying to get clarification and.
There's a lot of legal issues, and they claim now that they've worked it out, now they want to move forward, but
Okay.
we as on the planning board, we won't subdivide that without some kind of legal access to the property. Because they're all, we have landlocked them legally.
Right. Okay, well, we'll see if she gets here tonight, and then we can see how we want to proceed with that. And Mr. Tracy Knopf is scheduled to be on here tonight to discuss annexation with Creola. So we'll let him explain what he has there. I don't see him yet. We're going to add Miss Shirley Presnall. I think she's just requesting the use of the senior building for Thursday, and basically it's going to be a thank you lunch for the employees who helped with mainly Swamp Fest, but some of the projects that they've worked on recently with some of the clubs from around. So she called last week and they was trying to get a caterer, and I told her I did not think there would be any objection from the council to use that for it. So I felt certain they could proceed with getting their caterer and lining it up. So that's going to be your request, I think, pretty close. Okay. So we'll put that out, give it form of a motion if that's okay with y'all. And then
Sure.
you said Linda Robbins or
Yes, sir.
who else?
She's got herself, Mr. Bob McFall, or Gail Driver. One of the three of them will be here to recommend. They're, the Sarah Lynn Satsuma Chickasaw Education Council.
Right.
And Scholarship Foundation would like to rent the lodge, or like to use the lodge on May the 2nd and have the fees waived, with the exception of paying the cleanup fee, to honor all the scholarship winners and donations to the foundation. She said last year that the luncheon was held in Sarah Land and the year before Chickasaw, and now she's saying that she thought it'd be great to be able to show the new lodge, you know, the lodge renovations as well. So they'd like to use it for that.
Okay.
And it is available on that day, May 2nd.
Okay. All right, well, when they get here, we'll see what they say and make sure y'all have no problems with it. Okay, moving on for the mayor's report. I go through these pretty quick. Deaths, Ms. Robinson, y'all may have seen, passed away. She had worked with the city in our seniors program for quite some time when it first started. So, you know, if you see any of the family, we can express the sympathies for for her passing. So she was really well liked by the seniors at one time back when it first started. Robbie Storm from Goodwin Mills and Kaywood said that they will have people out, weather permitting, tomorrow, working mainly around the wetlands at Steel Creek Lodge for our permitting. So they're starting that, and they will be out here. So if the weather's good, if any of y'all would like to go down and see them, he assured me today that they are moving forward with getting us ready to get the plans to us, like from the workshop. He said he would hope to get the project moving and keep it moving at this point now. So he has actually called, and a couple of times we've spoke about it since the workshop. The splash pad, Tom and Travis have kind of worked doing cleaning of the splash pad in that area, and I think we got Josh Pope scheduled to come in this week, again, weather permitting, so we can get it, the pumps cleaned and all. It would be ready for opening, weather permitting, this weekend. Of course, the weather's, I think, supposed to turn cool again after some of this passes, so, but it will be ready for the opening. Did y'all see where the fence was moved, where Travis and some of the guys took the fence down along Plateau on the south side of the field, allowing the cars to get a little further off of the road?
Yeah, but there's no fence there now.
Well, there was no, I mean, they moved the fence into the smaller fence way in, so.
That's where the kids warm up, though, and now there's no protection from the cars.
Well,
We were supposed to move it in like a couple of feet, not completely take it away, because now it's a hazard for children that are just there.
well, we discussed, since they were no longer using the field, that we could move it in, and then we could go back before football season whenever it is moved, and when it will be used, and we can move it in and determine how far we want to move it in.
No one ever said they weren't going to use that area, and baseball had no idea. They asked me, where is our fence? And no one coordinated with them, so that's unfortunate.
Yeah, well, we discussed it. I think it's in the minutes from the last couple of meetings where we were trying to discuss exactly what you wanted to do on that fence.
I didn't want to do anything.
Well, we needed to do something to get the cars out of the road through there.
Creating a hazard for children was not the answer.
Step one was to tear the fence down irregardless. It could not be moved because it was too far gone. So we still have the option to put the fence, a new fence back up, and I believe that bid was $5,000.
I'm sure y'all will just do whatever you want, so it doesn't matter.
What the city wants to do now is spend that money. Call them up and schedule it.
The fence was repaired that I told you all about that had blown over at Wright Park, so Travis and the Public Works guys got that fixed for very little expense. We did have to replace some of the posts. We was able to reuse the fence.
Did y'all try to file it on insurance as a claim?
No, because for that amount of money, I'd rather us not try to file a claim, something we can simply fix with our Public Works people, and we did that. We do. Tom, did we get back from the plumber to find out about that leak that's in the wall of the bathroom?
He couldn't find it. We were gonna have, I just talked to him, we were gonna have to go in there ourselves if we want and start knocking out blocks until we figured out where it was. Ain't no telling where that's gonna lead to.
Some of the water that was in the restroom at the park, at the front bathroom, we started trying to find out.
I don't know a thing about it, because
So-
nobody communicates with me.
Okay. Well, you're welcome to go up there any afternoon and look at some of these things if you would like.
Look at something I'm not aware of. Okay.
We did have some work get started on the tennis courts this week, so if you may have seen some of those people up there. Travis, did you ever get a hold of them today?
No, sir, I left a message for them to call me back, but they never did.
Mayor, there's a letter or emails packet from the tennis, the company. I was unaware you were in communication with them, Travis, because I had been talking to him for the whole time, but he sent an email. I would have shown you, I didn't know you were involved in it, so. But they sent a whole email about the process and where they stand and what happened.
I know they have been up there more than a few days doing different
They
things.
said they
I don't
couldn't
know
get
what.
completely what they wanted done, but they wanted to go ahead and, because last I talked to him, he said they weren't gonna get to us until June of next year, and I told him that was absolutely unacceptable. That they, every time I talked to them, they said it was, we were next in line, and he said, well, I don't think that's what you said. I was like, no, that's what you said. So he said they would go ahead and start working on what they could, and then move us.
Talking about June of
Yes, sir.
23?
Yes. So, that should be handled, and that's why they're out there.
We got the final of the audit we got here for y'all to review. It's in our packet form now. There was no changes from the night that everything was covered. We will have our monthly reports. There were 7 applicants for the school board vacancy that is coming up. I was going to ask the council's pleasure tonight on how you would like to proceed. Would you like to set aside a workshop night where we can interview? If we do 7, do you want to try to do them all on one night? It may be quite lengthy, but I just don't see it being possible to do it on a council meeting night. So, Tuesdays has been the night that most of the time y'all have preferred to have a meeting. But I'm open anytime. I think the vacancy says it's supposed to be filled in April, or that's when the vacant position will come available on the school board. So our term is up. We have a planning board this Thursday night. A water board is next Monday night on the 11th. How's 12th, a week from tonight?
We can try that.
I can't make that night,
I won't be able to be there.
that's the 12th.
Take that night.
Wednesday, the 13th, or else we could do Monday, the 18th. That'd be the night before the council meeting.
Yes. $5:30?
We're gonna try to have that done and be able to get something that next night.
If we do it on a Monday night, we'd have to pretty well come to a decision.
What date you
Following day.
talking about?
Monday, the 18th.
What time? Got a water board meeting too, Mayor.
Yeah, that on the low.
Yeah, it's on the 11th.
I got it wrote down for the 18th.
No.
I better change it.
Try.
Well, our only option, and we got to give the applicants time to get their schedule ready also. So if we do it on Monday, the 18th, it'd be 5:30, so. Might make us be here for a while.
you'd have to, start at 5:30, you're gonna run into
8:30?
9 o'clock on the last one, if you got 7 of them. Starting at 9
So what
o'clock.
time?
8 o'clock, 8:30, wouldn't it? We said at 5, come back at 5.
It's gonna be a long night.
9 o'clock.
We can start earlier. I'm actually off work that day because it's Easter Monday.
You may could look at the appointment. Most of those appointments is that you serve until this date or till a new person is appointed.
Right,
You
I
need
think
a few
that's
more
where it
days. You
So, I
could
mean,
do
it's like,
I think in our bylaws, though, it says we have to appoint someone, I think it says by the first meeting in April. But we usually try at least on the second.
Can you carry over though, somebody, and just not reappoint them, but keep them on?
I don't think that person will.
Like they'll serve until they don't serve anymore?
Now, usually, most of those appointments, and I haven't gone back and looked at this one, but most of them say your term ends on this date or until a replacement is appointed.
Right.
They don't have a new term, say if you wanted to keep them another month, they could, in this case, finish out the school year.
Sure.
And then appoint somebody, something like that. But I haven't looked at the.
I think
actual
that's how it
process if
works.
we did it, but-
I think that's how the school board is, if I'm not mistaken.
and she said that she would be glad to stay on that, and I think they're trying to do some hirings the next meeting. And she said that since she had been through the interviewing process of all that she would be glad to stay for another month or two to complete that, because I think they've just hired a new school principal, and they got a CFO that's coming in. So she said that her schedule just didn't allow her to stay on the board for another term.
Sure.
But she would gladly participate in anything we had that was related to school. Okay, Monday, the 11th, is that what we've,
18th,
11th?
18th.
Oh, Monday, the 18th, starting at 5 PM?
That's fine.
I'll do it 4:30.
I can do 4:30.
Randy?
Whatever works for everybody.
If it means getting through earlier, I'll start. That's fine with me.
Start out at
If we can get it.
4 o'clock or 4:30, what'd you say?
I'll do either one.
Don't matter.
Y'all decide.
I can make it if that's what works better for y'all's schedule.
As long as we have people that are able to participate at that time.
I can start calling applicants tomorrow and see.
So
Okay.
4?
Some of them would like to come early.
Sure.
You make it at
4?
Can you make it
Yeah.
at 4?
I can do 4 o'clock.
I guess I can too then.
You'll just have to tell the boss you need to take off early.
I'll bring you a snack.
All right.
Okay, just so y'all know, Kara did get the ADM grant that y'all asked, or give me the authority to sign. We did get that in and submitted last week. Also, the original agreement, all we did is basically change the name, and we signed that with the Ladies Club, so that has been taken care of. Heather and Vicky have both been working for the 6-month financial report, which I have to give y'all every 6 months, and they only got it up to February. They asked if they could put it off to the next council meeting, and they would have it up to date. Is there any problem y'all would have with that? Okay, thank you. Jason had asked that we look at hiring a court clerk. We did call the personnel board. We sent a letter asking about a part-time person for approximately 30 hours a week that could be here. Hopefully that would take most of the court duties off
Have
of
you looked
the.
at calling for another list for a building inspector too?
If y'all would like to do that, we'll add that on tonight.
I want to look and see if something's changed, some new names are added or what.
Well, I did speak with the personnel board yesterday that we had been very dissatisfied with the applicants for that position, and so. Okay, and I did hear from the company that said they would put together a lighting proposal to go to LED lighting today. They said that they have finished the engineering report and that they should have us a package before our next council meeting.
Okay.
Kind of curious to see what that will look like when it comes in. Like I said, I think we gave y'all copies of who the applicants are, so y'all could look over tonight, and we can start that process. Those are the main items that I got that's not going to be addressed by by one of y'all under your positions. So with that being said, we'll go to public services. Mr. Little.
Mayor, I mentioned, while Tom's here, he usually don't stay for council meetings sometimes, but, him and, Edith met last week with Monica Williamson, Sarpsey, about the van. I just wanted to, I know I've been talking about it a little bit, but we've got some hard numbers. Approximately $49,000 for the new van that's coming, and we'll owe approximately $9,800 of that, which is 20%. We don't have to, make a decision right now, but I've been talking about the older van that we're using now. It's got some pretty good issues with it, and as far as fixing those, might get pretty costly, but we can make a decision about that later. But I was thinking about maybe the bigger van, trying to maybe sell it and this smaller van, and then maybe looking at, something else besides the lift van that might be feasible as far as just running errands and going to grocery store and stuff like that, or different things that we could maybe use that for. So everybody be thinking about that, and Tom's here if y'all got any questions from that meeting that they had, y'all can, ask him if you want. The other stuff's just normal stuff I'll mention in the council meeting.
Okay. Well, Mr. Butler's a little under the weather tonight. He's out, so he usually gives a police and fire report. Our fire report shows that there was 46 EMS calls, 34 fire calls that we responded to last month, for a total of 80 responses for the month. I think Chief Waits is here from the fire department. Chief, I think there was, we still got our 2 guys in training at Mobile, and there's also been some training conducted with Saraland, I think, last week.
During the joint training that we have required to guys, so every year with City Saraland. And guys, before last is past week, and we'll be last week of this month in joint training for them to get our 18 hours of facility training that we have to have. The guys that are in the recruit school, one of the fire doing well, we actually have one of our guys is squad leader right now, so it's very good.
Okay, that's good. All right. Chief Harrell, I know we got your report. We'll submit tonight. Anything in particular? I know you've had a couple of background investigations that's been, we actually submitted one today, so those are moving forward.
Yes, sir. A lot of our personnel have been tied up at the courthouse downtown with a murder trial from a case from 2019. The courts are moving, but they are moving slowly. Mr. Cherry, who we hired a couple of months ago, will start the academy next month in May. He's going to Selma. And that'll be about a 15-week school for him.
Okay. I think you got some work done around the station on, didn't you, also on some of the
Yes, Mr.
mold you'd been talking about?
Mr. Shields came and did some work on the HVAC system and replaced a bunch of ceiling tiles where we had mold grow in the new building. Fortunately, we received a grant from Shell Chemical Company that covered the entirety of the cost for Mr. Shields' work and the cost of the new tiles, and actually helped us with a couple of other smaller projects around the police station. They reached out to us and gave me a dollar amount, and I stacked as much stuff as I could and got as close to that dollar amount as I could.
We certainly appreciate you doing that. Okay. Administration, Mr. Skelton?
For, I guess, clerical purposes, we need to add item I about scheduling the work session
Good
for the
point.
school board applicants.
Thank you. Good point.
That's all I have.
Ms. Reeves?
Yes, sir. I saw where Alabama Power was advertising, I think it's the Good Roots grant, where they have the shrubs and trees that you can apply to get. And I think we try to do that each year and spruce up some areas. So I'm hoping maybe we could do that if Public Works or Parks has an idea where we can use those plants. Maybe try to get Kara to apply for that. If we have.
If you have a specific, she actually called me this afternoon, and I was going to ask y'all later today, looking for any specific type grants, because she said that she's really exploring a lot of things that we haven't done in the past in Satsuma, that she feels like we could identify some certain projects. Might be good for her one night just to print out some of the things that she's looking at, because she's got where she's calling about every other day wanting to know, and we actually feel like we know we got some grants. I mean, tonight, some of these are going to be covered, but I know the library's received some money, and the police department's received some money from Shell, and also we got a good Restore Act, Alabama Act grant that we got last week, so hopefully we can continue to receive some of those.
Okay.
But yes, so that's fine. Travis, let's try to put that on our list to try to look and see if we can find something. And that was with the power company, you said, the grant?
Yeah, don't they do it each year, Tom? That,
We've gotten a $1,000 Good Roots grant from Alabama Power 15, 20 years, and we just invested it in landscaping, adding mulch at the parks, just the entrances, and used it on plants and stuff.
sure, okay. Just kind of as needed type thing.
And Jeff sent me one, and I hadn't dug into it yet, but I think it was something along, it may have been that one.
Okay,
I'll look at it.
okay,
Send it
thanks.
to you.
Yeah. And then I know that softball had asked for a load of dirt on each of the fields. Do you know if they got the dirt yet?
Travis?
Yeah, we put 4 loads on each, a load on each field.
Okay,
So there's
great.
4, and they also asked for one earlier, so that's a total of 5 loads.
Okay, thank you,
Over to them.
thank you. Yeah, they do that to keep up the infield once a year. So, thank you. That's it.
Mr. Phillips?
Mayor, I spoke with Jerry Drinkard today, Sarah Land Lawn and Garden, about the 2 mowers that were ordered. He promised that one would be delivered tomorrow and the other one by the 1st of next week. That they got the mulching kit for one in today and the other one was being built. And by the time they got to ship it and get it here and put it down. And that's all I got, Mayor.
Okay. Going into items of discussion and/or consideration. A is payment of the bills.
Do that one.
Mr. Skelton.
I'll second.
Mr. Phillips. B, discussion and consideration of request from Satsuma High School to waive rental fee for Steel Creek Lodge on May the 19th for the senior breakfast.
I can do that one. I think that's in the packet as well.
I was going to ask you if you'd do that one.
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah, I think it's just basically something we do every year. Discussion and consideration for bids for cleaning services at Steel Creek Lodge.
I think we tabled that from last time, but I think we just wanted to make sure that whoever got it, had a contract they needed to sign that said if they didn't uphold their end of the cleaning, that they would not be eligible to continue cleaning. As a reminder.
Well, did you want to make a recommendation that we go with the,
Well, I'd like to discuss some of it before we make a recommendation on it. You know,
I would like to discuss it now, because, we're going to have to speed up a little bit, because it's almost 6:45, but,
I hadn't even looked through the package yet, so I'm not ready to vote on raising the fees.
okay.
No, that was the,
It's
this
the
one's for the
packet that
cleaning.
y'all got, the meeting, last meeting that Trish came up and
Yeah.
said with, and then y'all talked about it in the work session.
But like I said, I just want to hear the numbers and stuff, not just make a motion on it.
No, this was the one for the cleaning.
Yeah.
The cleaning.
That's what I'm talking about, I want to raise the fees and all, I want to know how much they are. Mm-hmm.
Okay,
And then a list of all the cleaning stuff is attached to that. That came up with.
we'll move from that, so to D, consideration of increasing rental amounts for Steel Creek Lodge.
Okay, both of those again.
It's kind of looking that way.
Well, do we want to just talk about it when we get to it?
That's what I said, just bring it
Okay,
up for
we can do
discussion.
that.
Yeah, we'll just talk about it then.
Okay, in consideration of resignation of Michelle Grenier as a senior aide effective April the 15th.
I'll do that one.
Second.
F, consideration of bids to remove a tree at 5556 Second Street. If any of y'all went by, the tree had, in the bad weather after we had already gotten bids, part of it fell on the fence over there, so it's partially down. It's a pretty good-sized tree, though.
Have we got the bids in?
We got two.
Like I said, I'm scared of those. That's going to be a big tree. Discussion and consideration of agreement for engineering services with Civil Southeast on resurfacing roads for the ALDOT grant 49-2022-444. Just how we got the grant on the, which of the, it come from Civil Southeast, Civil Southeast, I think, applied for the grant for the city some time ago, and
That's on the rebuild Alabama.
yes, I think it's, so I think we just have to approve the engineering agreement with them in order for them to proceed with starting the engineering process to do the resurfacing. Like I said, these are streets that were some time ago.
I was trying to remember when we talked about that one, I don't recall.
It's the cities can only get it every 7th year. And apparently it's been 7 years since Satsuma got one, because when we apply, we'll have to re-up, but it'll be 7 years before we get funded again. Because you can see it's only funded through so many cities every,
Yeah, but that's the gas tax, isn't it?
The rebuild Alabama's new.
Mayor, is the money, we're talking about paying them, is this part of that, the grant money? Or where's that money coming from?
Well, I'll have to find out exactly. It's got the numbers here from AlDOT. And Civil Southeast is the one that applied.
Right.
The city had entered in before our time.
They got us the grant and,
I know that that's who, yes.
right.
That's who. The only ones I've heard of that we've dealt with. And then Resolution 2022-0401, consider acceptance of Mobile County's offer to donate the right-of-way to the city of Satsuma. That's going to be, Jay, the property where the sidewalk will be up near Thomas and Powers along Old 43, up that way. I know there was a small portion of that area that was on the county right-of-way, and they've offered just to let us take that. I would like to get all that away before we can stop those signs for county right-of-way, city right-of-way. Get that whole area through there.
Amendment's not the resolution, if you don't see it. If you look at your resolution, it's right behind the first one.
And to my knowledge, the county is agreeable to do it, but they wanted to know if we were going to take it before they actually vote on it. So we'd be telling them we would take it if, we would accept it if they finalize it.
So we would take an additional 450 feet of street.
Yeah,
The
that's the
ditch and
thing. We would be maintaining it. It'd be our street, like a city street.
So we will be able to maintain it then too.
Yes.
When there's problems.
Just having to call them, ask them to clean the ditch or any of that
Gotcha.
through there. I mean, I hope we can still identify some of these islands that we have in the city and some of the right-of-ways where we actually do a lot of the work anyway. I'd like to get that in the city.
What's nice is they just repaved all that area right there too. And dug the ditches, so it's in great shape, you know.
Jay, I know you've been in contact with the county on some of that. Tom, you was also involved, speaking with them on some of that, wasn't you? With Civil Southeast on the right-of-way portion there?
I mean, we're, the part that we already got the grant for the sidewalk, that will now become our property. We already maintain all the ditches. They just repaved it, so that's good to go for a while. Our next step is to annex from the intersection at Pennsylvania Station all the way down to about 100 feet from the police station. And then north of Powers or Thomas Road to where the old Brits Propeller Shop was, somewhere up in there. I'll need to decide if we want to move that forward. Sounds like they're willing to do it.
I said, why we wouldn't.
Okay. All right, Resolution 2022-0402 to hire Civil Southeast for roadway investment improvements on AlDOT project, and it gives the number, the same one as from up above.
Is this grant 100% paid for by the fund, Rebuild Alabama funds?
I was told that they thought that that's what the city had requested. Like I said, this was some time ago, so it just got funded, so.
I didn't know what the scope of work was as far as the estimated cost of the project. Do you know?
No, but I do know that road projects have been so high recently, the last year or so, that I'm sure that's the reason I'd like for us to go ahead and start the engineering, so we can find out exactly what it's going to cost, or what we may have to put some money in with it. We gotta kind of get a starting point from the state.
How did we know how much to apply for if we didn't have a scope in advance?
Well, we have an engineer on the council, but I'm sure that they came out and probably done a little checking on the road, wouldn't you think, and measured it and figured the cost of what it would be.
I think these projects were limited to a dollar amount. I don't think it was, because I know when we looked at doing, I brought up one time about doing the unpaved portion of the service road, and they said, well, your limit's 250,000. So I think anything over that 250 is gonna be coming out of your pocket.
And the CRISA money that we're getting also, that we're hoping is gonna be released. I mean, unfortunately, the prices of everything has gone up, so that they're saying that there could be some money that the cities have to put in, or you could scale your projects back. And we're hoping to get that information also soon. But without having any numbers here, without hiring them so we can find out what it is, I don't know how we can answer that question.
Once the project's approved, we still have to pay that engineering fee up front out of our pocket.
And then, like the mayor said, you can either limit the extent of how much money you got, or pay for the rest of the project.
So, I mean, it's possible that some of the road paving that we were hoping to get as much as we could done, and may end up having to scale it back, or we may have to put some of our money in it. I mean, we had tried to budget just what we were planning to get.
So they want us to pay them $49,600? Almost $50,000, that's a lot.
I know this, Mayor, we got to start somewhere on these roads. They're in bad shape. And personally, I don't think $50,000 is too high for the engineering on it. I mean, we paid $30,000 to fix the tennis court. So why can't we, you know what I'm saying? We got to start somewhere.
Well, no, I mean, what if it's $1 million?
Well, let's find out, because we got to
$1
pay.
million
we got to
for a
pay
mile,
some roads.
1.25 miles seems like a lot.
We got to pay some roads. If we're tied to $250,000, let's see what we can pay for that.
Well, actually, it would be $200,000.
200, whatever the number is, we've got to start somewhere.
As long as it doesn't go over $250,000, then that's good.
Well, we do have
That's why I was
money in-
asking about the scope.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. We do have money in 4 cent, and we can put some money with some of these projects, but I think the CRISA money and this Rebuild Alabama will both be well used to start some paving projects. So
You're saying
the CRISA money that we've been talking
CRISA
about,
money?
it's going to be administered through South Alabama Regional Planning. They hired, who was it John Murphy went to work with, the road company.
Neil Schaefer.
Neil Schaefer. You may have seen some of them. The trucks have already been out here looking. They've got some marks on different areas around town.
Bradford, I'm waiting on Bradford Mayor. That's the one by the
Okay, and
school.
that's on there. So, and you're right, all those streets. All right, those are the things that's on the agenda tonight. So, looks like everybody's here. We got 5 minutes, so if y'all want to get up and stretch. Good evening. I'd like to call the regular meeting of the Satsuma City Council to order for our regular April the 5th, 2022 meeting. Just remind everybody, we try to keep as much social distancing as we can still in our meetings. And if you don't mind, please silence your phones if you haven't already, so they won't interrupt our meeting. Most of you have been to the meetings before, and you know that we always start our meetings with the invocation and follow that by the prayer. Tonight, Councilman Randy Little is going to lead us in our invocation, so if you would, stand and remain standing for the pledge.
Lord, we thank you for the day you've given us. We just thank you for the ones that's come out this evening, Lord, that's interested in our city. We just ask your blessings on this meeting, Father. Just give us strength up here, make good decisions. Father, we just ask you to be with our country and other countries, Lord, that's less fortunate. Father, forgive us where we failed you. We ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Mr. Little. Heather, would you give us a roll call, please?
Councilmember Little,
Present.
Councilmember Butler, Councilmember Skelton.
Here.
Councilmember Reese.
Present.
Councilmember Phillips.
Here.
Mayor Barlow.
Here. Please let the record reflect that the council, with the exception of Mr. Butler, are here. City clerk, attorney, and all the department heads are here as well tonight. The next item on our list is approval of the agenda. We did have some last-minute changes, add-on mainly for people wanting to speak tonight. So with that being said, we'll stop, instead of Allison Gilliard on D, we're going to make that Ms. Shirley Presnall to speak in reference to the senior building for Thursday. G, we had added, who do we have on G? Okay, all right. Miss Linda Robbins, I see Miss Robbins and Mr. McPhail have both entered, so they are here for the meeting. And then, as Mr. Skelton pointed out, we may have the, to add the school board applicants on I, where we're going to set a applicant, a day for the interviews being Monday, the 18th, starting at 4 p.m. So with those two, or those three corrections and or additions to the agenda, can we have a motion to approve the agenda?
We also added, waive the rental of Steel Creek Lodge for the band banquet.
That was H.
Okay, I thought Allison was just going to do that on that, but okay. So H,
Oh, it's
H
fine.
waiving the fee for the band.
And I would be scheduled in the work session.
Okay, with those additions.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Okay, motion made by Mr. Skelton, seconded by Mr. Little to approve the agenda with those additions. All those in favor signify by aye.
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 Okay, that's approved. All right, in our packet, we had the first minutes of our past meeting. From the past meeting is in the agenda from, I think, the 15th. So is there any corrections or additions that need to be made to the minutes from the last regular meeting?
Make a motion, we approve those minutes.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Little and seconded by Ms. Reese to approve the minutes from the last regular council meeting. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. All right, also in our packet of information tonight was minutes from the last workshop session, which was held on March the 22nd, 2020, regarding the work and the planned work around Steel Creek Lodge. Everybody have a chance to read over those minutes as distributed? Okay, with that being said, is there a motion made to approve the minutes from the last workshop?
I make that motion.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Reese and seconded by Mr. Skelton approve the minutes from the workshop. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Okay. We have no recognitions moving on tonight, so we'll go directly into visitors. When approaching the council, please come forward, state your name and your address for the record. Try to keep or be specific in what your request is from the council, and like I said, sometimes we could answer some of the questions, get right back to you. Sometimes it may take us a little time to get the information to provide an answer. But with that being said, we do appreciate everyone being in attendance tonight, and the first person on the list tonight is Miss Kathy Gifford.
Hi,
Hey.
Hello.
I'm Kathy Lee Gifford, and I live at 406 Powers Road in Satsuma, and I'm glad to be here. I've only lived in Satsuma for 3 years. My husband and I are Midtown residents, and we love it up here, absolutely love it.
Good.
And in the past, in our communities, we have, my husband and I have done things for the community. So I started a Facebook group and asked if we can do a community garden. And we were wondering if we could possibly see the bylaws of the Vaughn's property that is required to be a garden, required to be a park. So we thought we could make it a Vaughn's Community Garden Park. And we would provide the tables and the plantings, and we would get the school children involved. And we just mainly need to see the bylaws as to if we can even do this. If we can't, then we will approach some of our neighbors that live by the power lines and try to work that out.
Where would you do this at?
We're looking at the Vaughn's Drive South Park, the empty lots that are required to be a park.
Past Charles V over there you're talking about?
Yes, sir.
That's really not part of bonds. You know what I'm saying? Bonds is,
Well, we like that.
that's what I'm getting at. That, so bylaws wouldn't affect that.
It's between 450 and 451 Vaughn's Drive West.
Yeah, we have 80 people in our group right now that are interested in the garden. And so it's not something we're taking lightly.
Right.
We've looked over there at that property. It's just a matter of whether we can use it. And we do love the fact, and listen, there was something that happened when I first moved up here. And that was I stopped at the Vaughn's and offered to do some of the gardening out in front. And the lady said, well, where do you live? And I said, Powers Road. And she said, well, you're not in the Vaughn's.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
So I would love for it, that's why it's not called the Vaughn's Community Garden. It would be called Satsuma Community Garden. And we have some really great ideas. If we can use the property, and if we can't use that, if the city has other property that we could possibly do. And we would like to plant vegetables and let the people who work it have them feed the homeless, maybe have a farmer's market on a weekend, one weekend a month or something. Make a hummingbird place, a bumblebee place, a flower garden, walk and pass. And we're talking about us doing it, and we're talking about us getting the donations for it and possibly applying for some grants.
I think that sounds great.
idea.
So how hard is it to get the bylaws?
I'm not sure the bylaws is what you're saying. You're saying is there any restrictions on the property?
Well,
I
we
know
heard
that
there
the
was a
city
restriction. It had to be.
acquired the property whenever they helped complete the subdivision years ago. It had gotten started and then stopped. It was really kind of before my time. It was still going, but that would have been
It's in the 70s, if I remember.
No, it wasn't. It was
80s.
probably the
Bought three
mid-'80s.
lots too, over there, and that is. And the city bought a couple of lots over there at one point in time. I think one of them was dedicated as a park and the other ones were not. And I kind of vaguely remembered we dedicated another one for a park, or am I wrong?
I spoke to Vicky last week about it, and she stated that the two that are left out, though, are the ones that were dedicated to parks, that it may be in the deed, it specifically stated it must be a park.
I think that's pretty close to a park,
I
what she's
think it would
describing.
qualify. And, we actually looked 14, 15 years ago at selling that piece of property because it wasn't being used, and that's when we found out the city cannot get rid of it because it was given to the city to use for the community for parks and things of that nature, so.
The main concern we were worried about is if it got so specific about the park that it had to have a swing set and stuff like that and any of that, because I think a garden park would be perfect for that.
We can look into it, but I'm almost positive it did not require any of that. That's,
I don't
It-
think
it
she
did.
specifically
And-
stated, and she couldn't think that it did either.
I
so-
think
It says park.
Part.
Britt and Robinson was the ones that do it, and I think they'd be happy to see anything done with that piece of property besides it just sitting there.
they were involved in it, I know that.
Yeah.
Well, you want us to start tomorrow? My background sales, I asked for the deal.
I just got one question as far as liability goes. If y'all were on, doing this work on city property and someone was to get hurt, how would that be handled?
Yeah, that is a great question. It all depends on, if you would lease us the property for $1 a month, we could in turn come up with like a not-for-profit, but, that's up to y'all, how y'all want to handle that. We're all older people and, there's a lot of young people. We want to bring the school into it with an educational program. And
Is it any different from them working that than being in Baldwin Square or the ballparks or,
I like your idea.
There is.
Yeah.
And it'd be, in my opinion, worse to lease it to them. 'cause
Right.
I agree with that.
We would be leasing it.
Right.
We're not entitled to do that. Should be covered by our, just like any other park that we have out there that somebody, public can use it. If they,
It is, we were gonna like do corn and pumpkins and stuff, and then we would put a sign up in front of it for people to stop by and take pictures and say, falls here in Satsuma, Alabama, and then we have businesses that will donate some of the seeds, and we'd put signs there that said the seeds have been donated by this business, and we would ask for, business support here in the area and get this done. Botanical Gardens will send some master gardeners out that will help us with stuff.
So
Make
it's
sure
an
it's-
improvement to the property.
I would just ask that if, after a period of time, if you felt that the interest wasn't there anymore, that you would just, maybe whatever,
Return it to its natural, yes,
something like that.
right.
Yes,
Well, we
ma'am.
were hoping that the city would till it for us with their equipment, right? At first, with the spring planting, we would want to start small with 4 small beds, okay? And then as time goes on, let it grow bigger. But we're really late in the season right now. So we would like to start, and see what we could do, especially since I spoke to someone that said that the city might be willing to till it for us.
Can we do that? Being a
It's
city
y'all's
park?
land.
Yeah, I guess we can.
Y'all don't have any problem with it, if it's, just gauge the interest and let's just see what they,
Y'all go plant tomatoes?
Well, we have some interest here now. We
We
have
have a big plan.
5 and,
You
or
go
6
plant
of us here.
tomatoes?
Pardon?
Planting tomatoes?
Tomatoes, corn, squash, greens, beans. We even would do some satsuma trees and some orange and lemon trees, and we'd have an herb garden, a butterfly garden, and a hummingbird section. We'd put the hummingbird stuff over. We don't want to cut any of the trees down. We like it just like it is, and eventually build a walking path that will go through there and allow people to have walking, and we have some people who like to exercise, so thought about maybe putting some individual exercise equipments along the path, those, so they could stop.
The only question I got is parking.
Well, we thought of that, and that is, right now, while it's small, but eventually if the park grows really big, we looked at the property and building a large U with sideways parking spaces might be possible.
Coming up on the property, the park you're talking about.
Well, there's a sign there that says no motor vehicles or.
That was because of the motorcycles used to run.
Oh, well, we took it a different way, but
Yeah.
okay. And so, yeah, it wouldn't be on the park, it would be more like shorter than a driveway, more like from, just
Or it'd be
wide
at the
enough for
street.
cars to park horizontally.
They wouldn't be parking in the street.
Right now, there would be, because we don't have a parking lot yet.
See,
You ever
that's,
do
We're
anything?
allowed to drive
Huh?
onto the property to park on the grass, to clear the streets.
right, okay.
I mean, there's really no dip there if we're allowed to pull up, there's not a bad dip. So if you don't want us to, we're not gonna park in the street, but we would park up.
Okay,
On
that's
the
what I say, I think you'd just get complaints if you was parking in the street.
Well, she lives right there, would you mind?
Well, she's not by herself.
Okay, so, what do we have to do next to move forward?
Yeah,
Get
we
the
need-
plows?
Can we make a motion to allow them to start this project? I can't see where it'd be a harm to anything to the property to try it. and it
If we
could
ever
be a
do
great
anything,
thing.
I mean, obviously, I've seen it, we would have to put something, parking area in there if ever it's properly developed to get it off the road, but I mean,
I've started developing a plan of how we could lay this out so that we can allow for the parking and how we could do it in phases so that we're not spreading out too far and getting too far ahead of ourselves, and so that we can develop like a 5-year, 10-year plan, and try to develop it in a way that the neighbors around are happy to see it there, and it improves the neighborhood and increases home values and not an eyesore or, and trying to make it to where it's accessible to anyone that's coming onto the property, safe, and eventually having some restrooms, water fountains, things of that nature to keep it up to code for
And-
having that many people around.
And speaking of utilities, eventually, we'd probably like to build a small gazebo or whatever, but right now, our watering plans is that we would just bring it from our house and water them right now, unless the fire department wants to come do it for us. Just
You
kidding.
can always set up irrigation meter.
Pardon?
You can always set an irrigation meter.
If we can't
Okay.
get water access there, I know that I can at least build a small irrigation system. Whenever,
You'll hit water at 40 feet right
If you wanted to pump, yes, about 32, but you can also do an irrigation meter from the city.
Okay, well,
Ways to get water.
we love all these ideas. And we're excited that you're behind it, and you just, I mean, we didn't want to do anything wrong and not ask for the bylaws and know what's going on, but if y'all are ready to approve it, we'll start.
Mike can get some tomatoes in the ground before.
For Good Friday.
That's what we're trying to get before Good Friday. And this rain makes the ground kind of soft, so it's a good tilling time. Oh, and we'd build with some pallets in the very far back corner, some nice, make it look decent with maybe some paintings on it. For a small compost bin for what we pull up in the grass, we would put it back there to make dirt and stuff and add some worms to get it to compost.
It's gonna be a good community,
I'm all for it. I mean,
yeah, I
what's the
mean,
rest of the council think?
I'm fine with
Already
it too.
said
We
that we
just
were
need to
fine.
make sure that hopefully everything's gonna turn out and
Right.
do as well as they plan.
Right.
But we do need to not open ourselves up to get stuck in something that we can't get out of. If
Well, we'll
gets-
make it small
If it
enough.
gets to be a deterrent instead of a good thing,
We tried several years ago to develop that, and we couldn't get the community involved enough to do it. That's the reason I like this, because it seems like the community wants to do it now.
We have 80 so far, and it only went online a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. And I'm sure that if we say we have your support, that we'll get more.
sounds to me like you've got all of our support. I mean, I think it's good, and we can, they've said, just caution, don't get going too fast and get too much to take over or to keep up, but get started, see how it goes, and see how our community interest stays, and if the people stay interested in it, it could be a really good thing. It sounds good, so.
Hey, and y'all don't have to do anything for it except till the land and water the plants.
I somehow feel like they'll be coming back if it ever gets to developing some of those other things. But,
What now?
I said, I feel like y'all will be coming back if some of those other developments you're talking about are part of your plan, but if it's going well, that'll be okay.
And if it's going well, I'm sure the city will want to participate more into it.
Well, and we heard a lot of your grant ideas. We did when we were sitting back there, and one of our ideas was Alabama Power also. And we don't want to step on any of the city grant stuff that they have. But, Botanical Gardens has a grant
That's right.
program, and a lot of other ones do. So we can run all the grant opportunities by y'all or whatever. We don't want to take any money out of y'all's pocket.
I'm sure that some of the neighbors would like to see something done with the property that's been sitting there for a number of years.
I've heard it since I've been up here for 3 years, that there's some land over there that nobody does anything with, so.
Well, good luck with it, and
Well, thank you.
just kind of keep us posted, perhaps,
Yes,
if you
sir.
can do that.
Who do I reach out to?
Well,
Who do I call if we keep you posted?
He wants you to call him.
Email me
Okay.
Hey, put it on.
Okay,
and I'll get it to the mayor.
thank you so much. Thanks for y'all's time.
Put it on Facebook. That's where I've been keeping up with it.
Are you a member of that group?
Went a little over.
all right, thank you, Ms. Gifford. Next, Ms. Alvarez.
She came at the pre-council.
Okay, and we did take care, and you're going to take care of that on your?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. All right, C, Mr. Blake Pritchard. Mr. Knopf, did Blake make it in tonight? Okay. Yeah, he called and got on the agenda. Sally Woodward.
Hello.
Hello.
Good evening.
To the board. And I am Sally Woodard. I have lived in Satsuma all of my life. I was born and raised here in Satsuma. I was 43. And y'all want me to tell you my age? 79 years I've been there.
Very good for you. I knew your family been here for as long as I can remember, that's for sure.
79, I know you probably know.
Yeah.
79 years that I am soon will be 79 years next month. So that's why I've been in Satsuma, and we own the property at 5852 Old Highway 43. And we sit back from the fire station and the road. Y'all probably know all about it. But I've been going through this for years, trying to get my property all in state. If something happened to me, my husband already gone. So if something happened to me, the children won't have any problem of getting it situated. So I'm asking for, I know the road that we use, he just told us about it, is UR Road to come in and out. That's the only road that we have to get in and out. So I'm here to ask if you all could help me. I have this only my son now, to help us get it taken care of. I thought it was better if I come and stand before you all and look at y'all and ask you if you would help us. I've been living here, like I say, all my life. So I would like to get help with it if I could. And right away, to back and forth in and out to my house. Because right now, as I'm told, the right of way is not, am I right?
That ain't what he said.
What he said?
What we're trying to do here, and I've just thought about what he said. He just wanted me to speak on the road, but I need to get some understanding. I'm probably gonna meet with him tomorrow. We wanna put a house in there.
Yeah.
We know that we gotta do it as a subdivision. Right now, as it's shown on the map on the yellow there, that is the only way we can get in. But we've been here once before.
Yeah.
And as I understood, as a subdivision, you would have to have a right-of-way to your own property. As it stands right now, that is impossible where we stay at, because we is crossing over other lands.
Yes.
So that road he talking about, giving, asking y'all for permission to have the right of way to come in, that's not gonna work neither. Because if you use that road, we still gonna cross over my ain't property. So I don't know what he got going on here. We already talked to him. I don't know what he's trying to do. I'm just gonna be frank and honest
That's
with you. I just don't cut no corners.
So where would you need the right of way at?
Well, on the old map, where my parents' land saying is 2 acres.
You walk over and kind of show me.
And I don't think he got it drawn up here from what I'm seeing here, he got is arranging all the Satsuma stuff, but if our property was shown on this map,
Right.
it'd be a road on the other side
Right.
of our property. And as far as I know of, that road's supposed to come on our side of the property, go all the way around, all the way back to Jupiter Avenue. As far as I know of, in the old map when you look at it. That's the road really supposed to have been put in, not this road. But we've been using this road, well, they've been using it, but I don't stay there no more, ever since I was a little kid, and I'm 51 now. So, as far as I know, this road is grandfathered in, that's why we're still using it. And he wanted us to ask by giving Satsuma the permission to make this the right of way for all of us to get to our property. Well, if you do that, from what I understand, like I said, on the subdivision, if you come in back there, look, we come in this road, we'll turn right, go behind my aunt's house to get to my mom's house. You can't do that in a subdivision as far as I know of. You can't cross over someone else's property to do that.
They could also dedicate a right of way too.
They come across their property.
They could give you the right of way too, just like you just showing there for the city to do. That's the reason I'm trying to get my head wrapped around where you need it, to do that.
He said use this road. But like I said, the last, I don't think none of y'all was here, because I was here. The last people we talked to, they said we couldn't do it. We could not cross over no one else's property.
Even if I get
We
permission.
were trying to draw it on the original map that, I don't know if my mother brought it, how we was trying to figure out how to get in. But like I said, it's a road on the old map, you can see it. That's the original road that's supposed to be put in, but they didn't do it. And if you had that road there, none of this in the front, what he's talking about by the police station, would never be used. We'd be able to come in on our property.
Where's that road come out at?
Like by Gold Leaf, right?
Huh?
Ain't no road there. It's just shown on the map like it's supposed to be a road there, but it's not
But
there.
where would it come out at, is what I'm saying. Is it city property where the old one used to be?
You talking about, on the other
Gold
side?
Leaf, right?
That's right,
That's what I'm saying.
Gold
The
Leaf.
old road that used to be there, runs out by the power line.
that's right, to Juniper.
That's where it come out.
But are y'all still trying to subdivide the property so you can build a house?
Right.
And from what I'm understanding, you're gonna have to have some type of right of way like that if you subdivide and make a subdivision back there. That's the legal issue, if I'm not mistaken. And y'all was here time before and had attorneys here with y'all and all.
Got rid of him, I told
I was, well, that was my next question.
That's why I say I thought it was better for me to stop losing money and come in and stand before you all. Because pretty well, y'all pretty well know us.
Yeah.
And so I thought it was best for me to come in and let y'all look at me
Oh.
and tell you to ask for what I want.
Well, that was my next question. Did y'all get all of that worked out, or?
No, we fired him. Too much money.
fine from day one.
We
So-
fired him, I'm
Right now,
sorry.
we're gonna have to start over.
Yeah, we go.
Okay.
To try to do it right.
Yeah.
Way,
I
not
want it
just-
right. I ain't
I
trying
know
to
we're
cook
complicated
nothing.
and all you're looking to. That's what we come here tonight to find out what all we need to do.
But was that kind of what Mr. Tom was trying to tell y'all in there, that he was kind of going the same way, that you're gonna have to have that right of way? Is that kind of what he was?
He was saying this right away. But like I say, right, you come
Yeah.
on somebody's property. Now, I don't know what he got on here, but he told me to meet him tomorrow to get this, and I was gonna have a talk with him, see what he really is trying to draw up, or what he's trying to do, because you still, if y'all come and make this a legal road to get into our property, we still, where my mama house said, let's say, this was my mama the property, where my mama house said here, then it's a house said here, then it's another house said here. You gotta come in this road, go all the way around, get to my mama house.
Yeah.
Now, it's 2 acres. You got 1 acre going this way, 1 acre going this way. I mean, a half acre going this way and a half acre going this
Yeah.
way. See what I'm saying? This road, we come in and go behind my aunt's house and get to my mom's house.
Do y'all own all of the property behind that out to Juniper? Where you talking about that?
No, we don't.
No,
You don't own all of that?
no, just 2
Okay,
acres right
I
there.
see what you're saying.
Mhm.
And that road that's on the map will go behind our property, like he was saying.
Mm-hmm.
And as he was speaking, and I walked up, Sean saying that we signed over, if I'm right, my son knows if I'm right, that we would give over and use the road that you are property. Well, we need to be sure that we gonna have that road, and y'all don't shut us in.
I think, just from my standpoint, I think the first step for the council to do would be to declare that as right of way, and y'all have use of it. And then and the next step would be for your subdivision that you're planning to do by the subdividing your lots, would be that the associated property owners east of that, the end of that right of way, would have to come to some type of agreement as to where they would allow y'all to drive on. So they may have to give you 40 feet or whatever to create a right of way to access that other proposed subdivided lot, if that makes sense.
I think we're gonna have something formal so we know exactly what we're trying to, I mean, nobody's opposed to helping them get a right of way to your property, but
Not at all.
we gotta have some clarity of exactly what you're asking for, and I just don't think we have that tonight,
Right. I know you don't. That's why I'm saying we're gonna have to start over.
okay?
That's what we asked. He had me come out and say something about this. I don't know about this. This is new to me tonight.
Okay.
So, I'm just being frank. We just come in,
I'm
come
scared.
and ask that we want to build a
Yeah,
house.
yeah, that's y'all property, that road is, and we've been using it all, since we've been there, but that's still y'all property.
How we gonna get in, how we gonna get out, how to subdivision.
I want to make sure I can get in and out.
Bring it back to you.
Okay, that sounds good.
And ultimately, I know this body will take care of it maybe after, but I think maybe the planning commission will be that first step, coming to them instead of us, but then it'll get back to us. Well, there's a couple of us that's here that's on that planning commission, but I'm just saying, that's where, the rules and actually what, you can and can't do, and we've got another attorney that, speaks to that also, and might,
I don't know how long ago you
I can't-
tried that.
Well, it's what, been about 3 years now?
It probably is the same
Last time I
attorney.
was here. It's been a minute.
Okay,
anyway, that's,
But I know you did.
yes, ma'am.
Okay, that's what
okay. When you get a little more information on how, because I mean, that could be opening up a lot of property in the future and all, so whatever we do, we need to take in consideration. I mean, if they can access their property, but water, sewer, everything, so.
I want to ask this one question.
Yes, ma'am.
I ask a lot of questions, I talk too much. Okay, the way the road is now, and when I go into my house, I go UR Road, then I turn, and I go around past my sister's house, and then into my drive. So, do I have to, I have to ask my sister, or do I just need to wait? Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself.
You getting ahead of yourself.
I think you are, I really do.
Yeah, she getting ahead of
Wait on
herself.
that question.
Let us come up there and look at it and try to get a little more information for
Okay.
us, and we'll try to come by and
I appreciate it.
look at
Okay,
it.
I want to ask one thing.
Yes, sir.
Could y'all please do something with that
Water.
water? It's, when it rains, say we're gonna get another storm tomorrow, it just clutter up right there real bad.
Now, let me tell you how they used to do it. I can tell you how they used to do it. They used to come in with a tractor and cut a ditch into the pond. I call it the pond. That's why I always know it was the pond. You know where all y'all pretty trees and stuff like that. So they would cut a ditch and the water would run off into there. Because if you come early, when it's raining, for some reason, it doesn't look like a hill to me, but the water is running from up, down. You can see it, running. And I'm gonna be truthful. I've been driving around on y'all grass. So I would like for y'all to see if you can do something about it so I don't have to drive on y'all grass. Because the grass is beautiful there. And you ain't saw me. Yeah. But anyway, I've been driving around on the grass because right now I have to get my brakes fixed if y'all.
And I'm the one got to keep fixing them brakes.
I don't have a husband anymore.
Can you give us a chance to look at it and you get some information for us and we'll see if we can do something?
I appreciate it.
All right, appreciate it so much.
Thank you. James
Yes,
worked on
ma'am.
the
Y'all
road
can help me.
years ago. Maybe you can speak with James. I know years ago, when we were trying to get some access to that property, they did some stuff. Maybe we can find something, we can help them if it's right near the road there, right beside our property. Okay, Mr. President, I think I skipped over you. You want to come up real quick, I think?
Yeah, he will. Jack said make it short, so I will. Shirley Presnall, 540 Maria Drive. And I'm here to ask the council to let us use the community center on the 7th for our annual dinner that we give to appreciate the fire and police and the public works for what they do to us, or for us, for Swamp Fest. And that's it. Oh, I can say a lot more, but Jack said don't say no more, so.
We can get it done from that.
You can get done from that? That's what I thought.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Mr. President. What do y'all, we can do it now, or you can put it on under yours, just we'll make a motion to let them use the community center Thursday for a luncheon for the employees.
I make that motion.
Motion made by Ms. Reese, seconded by Mr. Skelton to allow the, Ms. President and her group to provide a lunch for this thank you for the city. Thank you, so we appreciate it. That was pretty quick. Mr. Nolfi.
Take a vote on it.
Tracy
later.
Nolfi.
All in favor?
Oh, all in favor? Everybody was for it, so any opposed? I didn't think there would be. Thank you, Tracy. Come on up.
Tracy Nolfi, 5811 Daphne V. Mr. Jack told me I couldn't talk long either, so I'll be quick. Now, look, it's just a public service announcement. Let you guys know, let everyone know that we're going to have a public meeting on April the 26th at 6:30 at First Baptist Church, Satsuma. And that's for any resident, Saraland, good grief, that's a bad thing to say, Satsuma and Creola. There's a group of citizens, about half and half of Creola and Satsuma, just kind of looking, doing fact-finding about the possible merger annexation of Creola and Satsuma together. And all this is we're going to take everything that we've gathered, everything that we found to be factual, and present it to the community. And it's just that simple. So.
Okay.
And Brent's going to let us use the church up there, so we'll have a good venue. Everybody can come in and sit and so forth. So
What time?
6:30 on the 26th. It's a Tuesday. And there'll be a little Q&A session at the end. So hopefully we'll give you all the info we have and take it from there. All right.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Tracy.
That's it.
Appreciate it. Yeah. Yeah, Tracy set the bar pretty high for public speaking, up and down in less than a minute. Good. Thanks again, Tracy. Okay. Mr. Robbins is in the back, Mr. McFall. I don't know if one or both of you like to come up and, okay. Well, Ms. Robbins, you can come up, please.
I'm Linda Robbins. I'm 605 Valier Court in Satsuma. And thank you for allowing me to be added tonight. The Saraland Satsuma Chickasaw Community Ed Council is a long group of people that have been around since the 70s. We have transported from doing community ed at the schools to scholarships. So this is a foundation that gives scholarships annually to Satsuma, Saraland, and Chickasaw students. We like to have an annual dinner to recognize not just those students, but many people who give money to pay for these $2,000 scholarships that we give to 2 or 3 students from each school every year. On top of that, we do an essay contest at 3 cities with the 6th graders to tell us what they love about their city. And we love Satsuma, so we want to hear those Satsuma essays. We recognize those winners, parents, donors all come. So what we're asking is for you to waive the fee for May 2nd, which is a Monday night, for the annual dinner of the Community Ed Scholarship Foundation. And we know that the cleaning fee is our responsibility.
Okay, I mean, it certainly sounds like a worthwhile project, very good over the years. and it's,
I put that into a form of a motion.
Second.
Motion been made by Ms. Reese, seconded by Mr. Little. All in favor of waiving the fee for the group for the night of May the 2nd, 2020. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed.
I
got
thank
it?
you, and we rotate that.
Yes, ma'am. that's
Between the
good, too.
3 cities, it's our year, and we want to brag about our renovations, right?
Yes, ma'am. Okay. The next item was going to be, H was we're going to do the school board for our next, was that Ms. Robbins had that, and then you had the fee?
Doesn't be down
Okay,
on the items of consideration.
okay. Okay, do we have any other visitors? Ms. Callen, I see you. So, okay, well, we, in our pre-council tonight, we told them that we had signed the agreement and it has been executed with the Women's Club, so that's good. Anybody else to come before the council tonight? Okay. All right, moving on to reports and announcements from the mayor and council. I'll go first. Earlier tonight, I spoke that Ms. Doreen Robinson, who was one of the first people we had employed with the city in our seniors program, had passed away. So we want to give condolences to that family. I informed them that Goodwin Mills and Kaywood will have people out tomorrow working mainly around the wetlands at Steel Creek Lodge to proceed with the Go Mesa project that we've been working on for quite some time now. So I'm glad to see that it appears it's finally starting to take off a little bit. The splash pad, we are trying to get that ready for opening. We have completed power washing, I think, Travis, of everything. We're just now waiting on Tub and Spa to get out this week. They were unable to get out last week to get the pumps and everything checked out. So hopefully that'll be ready to go this weekend. I told y'all that the Public Works repaired the fence that was blown down in the storm that we had a couple of weeks ago. So Travis, appreciate the work y'all did on that. We do have some other repair going on around there. I've told you we've got a leak that they can't find that's in the wall. I think there's been some complaints on the restrooms up there, so hopefully we can find that and get those repairs made. The dirt that you've asked about, Ms. Reese, was taken to the fields, each one of those fields. So that's been taken care of. Hopefully the tennis court project will start moving now. It seems like every time we start something, we have this type of weather that comes up. Tonight, we've got the hard copies of the audit that we've gone over. If y'all would like to review it to make sure that it's there, we can put it on the agenda to be voted on at the next meeting, if y'all would like to do that. Is that okay? All right, so y'all have that, but if you would add that to the agenda so we can vote to accept that at the next meeting. We have been able to get picked up 2 more of our inmate workers, so we're hopefully, returning to getting the numbers up where it's really worth going and picking them up. As when we first started back after COVID, we were down to 3 or 4 inmates, I think, sometimes, and just wasn't even worth going. So we're back up to 7 this past week, I think.
Yes.
Well, that's good. Mr. Butler is out tonight, so the chief, both of them gave me the reports. We have the fire report. We responded to 46 EMS calls this past month, 34 fire, for a total of 80 runs for the fire department. And Chief Harrell also gave me a police report here. Showed we responded to a total calls for service of 449 calls. There were 6 felony cases made, 21 misdemeanor, other cases 25. Traffic violations were citations 101, and there were 5 traffic accidents that they investigated last month. So I think both of the chiefs gave us reports on their new hires and what's progressing there. So anything else from them? Okay, in our workshop earlier, we agreed to set a meeting or interview for the school board applicants. There were 7 applicants for the position that's coming vacant on the school board. The council discussed setting the interviews to start at 4 o'clock, and we'll set them every half hour on Monday, May the 18th, here at 2022. If you can, let us know tomorrow. You can individually let us know, because I wouldn't want to exclude someone if their schedule would not allow. So we need to make sure that we are open to perhaps another night, even if everyone couldn't be there. Hopefully we can all make it, but let's see if they can make it on that day. But if not, we may have to do something else. I don't know if any of you had a chance to go by Steel Creek Lodge this past weekend, but they had the 50-year class reunion for the class of 1972. I think they had the lodge. It was one of the nicer decorations they had done on the job. Had a lot of the old school pictures from the old school and all put out, so it was I think they had a good turnout. Kara Stallman completed the ADM grant that we were required to submit, so we submitted that last week. As I said, with Ms. Callan here, we have finally got that agreement with the Ladies Club executed. We will have a financial report. They were not able to get it all the way up through the end of the last month for tonight's meeting, but we should have that prepared for our next meeting.
Yes,
So,
got bank statements for March
Okay.
this morning.
So, all right. I told you the lighting contractor that came last month called today and said that he hoped to have us some information regarding going to the LED lights at the Lions Park. So that's something we've all been looking forward to.
Do you know who it was?
Yeah, I can give you the name of the company. They're out of Georgia. He comes from the Atlanta area. I know Gaines was his first name. But my case.
From last year, it was Christie at Alabama Power. That's who you were. When she gave us the ones, it was mainly for the Lions Park and all those different ones, different quotes. It was Christie Silver Nail. That's who came out and did all those.
Okay.
Gentleman's name that did it a few weeks ago, this pairing, it's named Gaines Todd out of Atlanta. Of course, like I was saying, we discussed in pre-council, the library received a grant, I think it was $6,000 last week from the county commission.
Oh.
So
Not exactly sure.
that was very good. If we see Miss Ludgood, we might want to give her a big thanks for that. Police Department Chief, you said you got that grant from Shell Chemical as they were leaving for $5,000, and they've already put that to work for what they wanted to do in the Public Works building to make some repairs that we had actually all discussed here a few months ago. And like I said, the Rebuild or Restore Alabama Act, we got that, which is in your packet, for the $250,000 to do road repair. So with that being said, that's the main things that I had from my report tonight. So we will go into Public Services with Mr. Little.
Thank you, Mayor. The senior report, the seniors, they maintaining 12 to 15 participants in there on Tuesdays and Thursdays each week. They didn't meet this morning because of the weather. The last quarterly gift card was given to Miss Gale on March the 29th. The Meals on Wheels program has delivered 893 meals. We still have a waiting list. I know Mayor's working on that a little bit. Thanks for that. The senior transportation van made 36 trips to various appointments, and we have had 2 Walmart shopping days. So that kind of gets back to the van that we're looking to get that I mentioned in pre-council. I'll mention that again very quickly. Tom and Edith met with Miss Monica Williamson with SARPSI, which is helping us with that van. And the cost of that van is going to be approximately $49,000, with us having to pay approximately $9,800 of that, which is 20% of that cost. So a big thanks to SARPSI for that. Also, I know on down here we're going to address in the items of consideration about one of our senior aides that is resigning. If anyone's interested in maybe a position as far as a senior aide here at the city, come tell one of the ladies, and we'll see what we can do about that. I mentioned last meeting, the city is busy issuing permits. There's a lot going on. I seen a stack in there this morning that Miss Trish had, and she was showing me, how many that we've got. So that's a good thing. Down at the trash ramp, we ordered 50 more garbage cans. And I also wanted to mention, which I don't very often, but we collect, as people bring stuff, scrap metal and stuff. We made a trip and sold some of that, which we do periodically, but brought $500 plus, for a thing of scrap metal. So that's good. And thanks to the guys down there that takes care of that at the trash ramp. So that's just a few things, but that's enough for now.
Yeah, it is good, the keeping up with the scrap and the doing that. I think we've taken a couple loads down. You speaking of regional, South Alabama regional planning, the help, but Diane Burnett, who was our long time for probably 25 years, our representative on the planning board from regional planning, is retiring, and so is Kevin Harrison, who's been a great help over the years for regional planning regarding our road work and grants that we've got. So
I didn't know.
Both of them will be missed.
Kevin's retired.
So, we might need to get them a card and thank them for the many years. They don't come to their meetings, and so a lot of people don't know them, but they've definitely been involved in our city for quite some time. Is that all, Mr. Little?
That's all.
Mr. Skelton?
I don't have anything.
Ms. Reese?
I don't have anything.
Mr. Phillips?
I'm good, Mayor.
Okay. Items for discussion and/or consideration. A, payment of our bills.
Make a motion to pay the bills in the amount of $110,244.14.
Second.
Motion been made by Mr. Skelton, seconded by Mr. Phillips to pay the bills in the set amount. I think it's $110,244.14. Any questions? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. Discussion and/or consideration of request from Satsuma High School to waive the rental fee for Steel Creek Lodge on May the 19th for the senior breakfast.
I put that into a form of a motion with the cleanup fee to apply.
Second.
I'm so sorry.
Go ahead.
So on this one, it says $100 cleanup fee, but I noticed on the other ones, it says 125. So,
They printed off the old application they had at the school, and Ms. Coleman was told, and they understand it's 125.
okay.
Okay, with the understanding, I guess that'll be in the motion, of just $125.
Yes, sir, I'm sorry.
Motion made by Ms. Reese, seconded by Mr. Little. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
C, discussion and consideration for bids for cleaning services at Steel Creek Lodge. There wasn't a lot of discussion at their pre-council on this matter. Would y'all like a little more time to study this to the next meeting?
I would.
Would.
I know we got the prices, I mean, we just, I guess we need a recommendation, you know, maybe from, I think Ms. Trish might have got them together, if, you know, think the lowest bid would be the best, or if, you know, maybe the next one, you know what I'm saying? Don't know that the lowest bid might be the best, or, that's what I would kinda,
Trish just asked that I, forward to the council that she was concerned with the lowest bid he would currently use getting the same results. She was concerned about that.
If we put it off to the next meeting, we'll ask Trish to attend, and she can bring all of the paperwork. I know that Travis and Public Works has gone down a couple of times when it wasn't satisfactory to help them get it ready for a rental. So if Trish is here and Travis is here, maybe they can answer the questions and make a recommendation to us.
that'd be good.
But that's also very close to the very next thing, and talking about the rental amounts and how they come up with that.
Can we put that one off?
She, I mean, I think Edith worked with her some on that, didn't she? With Trish
we
on
all
that? Okay.
And I think that's the same,
Okay.
kinda same way, but okay.
Just maybe all April 19th.
That's okay with council? I
So
agree.
I think they do need to be increased, just a matter of how much, but
Y'all okay with that, tabling that? So we're gonna table items C and D to the next meeting, which will be April 19th meeting. Well, it's three things we have going. Anybody want to put that in the form of a motion?
I'll make
We
that
table
motion. We table both of those, C and D, till next council meeting.
Mr. Little made a motion, seconded by Mr. Skelton, to table this to the next meeting, to get a little more information and have the clerks here. Anybody have any discussion? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
E, consideration of the resignation of Michelle Grenier as a senior aide to be effective April the 15th, 2022.
Make that motion.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Little, seconded by Mr. Skelton, accept the resignation of Michelle Grenier as senior aide. All those in favor signify by aye.
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 Motion carried. F, discussion and consideration of bids to remove a tree at 5556 Second Street.
I have those bids. Bubba, you want to open them, or
No, you good.
figured that? There's two bids. This is from Reed's Tree Service. The big tree stump, the little tree stump, haul off all debris, $4,200. This other one is from Hamco. Cut and dispose of 2 water oaks, grind the stumps, and dispose of all tree cuttings, $2,820.
Travis, where's the second tree? I know we had one on Second Street.
Yeah, it's right beside, it's, smaller. And it's also big, and it's by, power lines. So, cut that one, the other would liable to fall also.
Need to make a motion?
Those the two you got flagged over there, Travis?
Yes, sir.
Good.
That's right.
Put pictures in the packet.
I seen the flags out there. That's not which one you're talking about.
At the low bidders, Hamco at $2,820. Did you make that?
I'll make the motion, we, accept and go with the bid of Hamco. Was it $2,820
Yes, that's what you said.
to remove the 2 trees, stumps, and all the trimmings?
Motion been made by Mr. Little to remove the trees for the set amount to Hamco, award the bid to low bidder.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Skelton. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. G, there was some discussion earlier, Ms. Reese was questioning, we were on the agreement with the engineering services on G, discussion and consideration of an agreement for engineering services with Civil Southeast for resurfacing of roads. We discussed that in our pre-council. I think some of us are ready to see some of that going. I think there's some time issues that we probably need to get it looking at from that. Do y'all have any problems? I mean, I know we use Civil Southeast a lot, and I think this is something that's been on a long-going project that's been here for a number of years. So it's got the streets, so. Y'all want to go ahead and enter an agreement with Civil Southeast to proceed with engineering on these streets? So, all right. Somebody will make a motion, and we'll proceed. So,
I'll make the motion.
second?
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Little, seconded by Mr. Phillips.
I'm abstaining on the vote because I can use that access to get to my house. So I'm just going to abstain from that.
Okay, that's
I
fair.
agree with the
Okay.
project.
Okay,
But
I understand. That's fine. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Aye, we got
One abstention.
one abstain.
Ms. Reese? I see him opposed.
I didn't move
Say
my mouth.
oppose.
You
Mayor.
didn't ask that yet.
Any opposed?
Oh, you did? Okay, hey, me. It just seems like a lot of money.
Okay. We have 3 for, 1 abstain, and 1 opposed. Well, that was still carried. Resolutions, ordinances, orders, and other business. Resolution 2022-04-01, consider acceptance of Mobile County to offer or donate the right-of-way on Old 43 to the city of Satsuma. As I said, this is up in the area of Old 43 near Pennsylvania Crossing back down to Thomas, where the sidewalk project that we have has been going. It crosses over some of the property that was still county maintenance. We discussed that in the pre-council.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it. Skelton making a motion. The motion was seconded by Mr. Little to accept the right-of-way from the county on that. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Resolution 2022-04 to hire Civil Southeast for roadway improvements with the ALDOT project, which is from the one above. I don't know why we'd have to, because we didn't have it in a resolution to hire them now?
He wanted a resolution done to do it, but you had to first approve the contract. They have to have a resolution to send to ALDOT, or Alabama, excuse me.
Make that motion.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Little, seconded by Mr. Phillips to approve the resolution with Civil Southeast for engineering on the said projects that we discussed. Any further discussion on it? All those in favor signify by aye. Aye. Those opposed?
That would be me again.
Abstain for the same reason as previous.
Right. All right, we had 3 for it, 1 opposed, and 1 abstained. We have covered all the items that was on the agenda tonight. Is there any other business to come before the council before we adjourn?
Were you going to accept the audits or not?
We just gave it to them. We put it on the next agenda so they could look over to make sure it was no.
We had added
H&I? Yeah, was I sleeping?
We hadn't done that.
Okay.
H, I thought was the,
It's the Band Booster Banquet. There was gonna be a motion made by Ms. Reese.
okay, a band booster boot, that was for.
Miss Alvarez that came earlier
That's
to,
right, we did. We spoke with her in the pre-council.
yes, sir, the waiver of the rental of Still Creek on May 10th, where the $125 cleanup fee would apply. And I put that in the form of a motion.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Reese, seconded by Mr. Skelton to waive the fee for the band for the day was May 10th, except for the cleanup fee that we'll pay. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by aye. Aye. And what was aye?
Work session for the 18th at 4 o'clock.
Okay.
I move that we schedule a work session Monday, April 18th at 4 o'clock for school board interviews.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Reese, seconded by Mr. Skelton to set the workshop for May the 18th, April the 18th, starting at 4 p.m. for the interviews, and the clerk will let us know if all the applicants will be able to make it on that day. If we can, we will stagger them in 30-minute increments. Is that adequate time, you think, for everybody?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any further discussion on that night? All those in favor signify by aye. Aye. Any other business? Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, we adjourn.